Good morning everybody. We'll be starting with ceramic veneers. I, Dr. Prachi from Department of Conservative Dentistry and Endodontics, is going to carry on the same. So ceramic veneers. Basically, what do you understand by veneer? A veneer is a layer of tooth colored material that is applied to a tooth to restore localized or generalized defects and intrinsic discoloration. Constructing a veneer without regard to material and bonding it to the etched tooth surface is referred to as laminating. A porcelain laminate veneer is extremely a thin shell of porcelain which is applied directly to the tooth structure. So now what is the difference between a laminate and a veneer? Laminates, they are used to restore the original color of the tooth, whereas veneers, they are used to change the original colors and to make it look more natural and as well as the shape of the tooth. The indications for porcelain veneers are type 1, type 2 and type 3. Type 1 in moderate tooth discolorations, anatomical malformations or corrections of positions, and extensive damage, changes in forms like extensive coronal fractures, congenitals and acquired malformations. In moderate discoloration such as tetracycline stainings, fluorosis or devitalized teeth, teeth which are darkened by age but which are not conducive to vital bleaching, surface defects and replacement of missing or fractured part of the teeth or closing of diastemas. Rotated or malpositioned teeth, short teeth, agenesis of lateral incisors, progressive wear patterns and functionally sound metal ceramic or all ceramic crowns with unsatisfactory colors. Now, various contraindication of veneers that we should not use veneers in such situations where there is a habit of bruxism or clenching or other parafunctional habits such as pencil chewing or ice crushing, little or no enamel for bonding. Extended veneer restorations of ceramic crowns may be preferable in such treatments. Class 3 or end-to-end bites and poor oral hygiene. Deciduous teeth and teeth that have been extensively fluoridated and may not etch effectively. In patients with severe crowding and extreme bleaching resistant discolorations such as deep tetracycline or amalgam stainings or discolored devitalized teeth. The advantages are better shade control, long-term stability of the chosen shade and high acceptable tensile bond strength. Inherent porcelain strength that permits reshaping of the teeth. Though porcelain veneers themselves are fragile, but once bonded to the enamel, the restoration develops a high tensile and shear strengths and extreme good compatibility with the gingival tissues, so they are easy to maintain. They are long lasting. For example, a 5-year clinical study of 186 porcelain veneers shows that in 61 patients it showed a survival rate of 98.4%. It is resistant to stain because it is smooth surface, exceptional resistant to wear and abrasion. It is more resistant to deleterious effects of solvents, resistance to absorption of fluids, sulfur luster is provided and lack of radio opacity. The various disadvantages are the color cannot be easily modified once it is bonded into position, irreversibility of the preparation, level of difficulty of fabrication and placement, that it is more technique sensitive, time involved and expense as it requires more of photographs, more of time, more of diagnosis, and fragile. They are fragile since they are thin shells. Technique difficulties in avoiding over contours and obtaining a closely fitted porcelain or enamel margins. Margins are brittle and difficult to finish. They have low repairability. They have to be changed. Susceptibility to pitting by certain topical fluoride treatments like stannous fluoride paste should be avoided in veneers. Now, clinical technique for shade matching. The dentist try to take shades in a room free from wall coverings and decorations which are highly saturated with color. If patient is wearing a bright color lipstick, then they should be removed. Secondly, bright color should be offset by relatively neutral colored aprons like pale blue aprons since color is more stressful to operative scones. Dentist should remove all tinted glasses before matching the color. That is, it should be performed in natural light. So when, where and how to record the shade. First of all, when. This should be done before beginning of the treatment. At a session where teeth have not been dried out for any period of time, because once dried the color of the teeth changes. Where it should be done inside operatory using color coded lights like outside in the daylight or inside using incandescent lights. And finally, consider the shade after the enamel has been prepared. And how? Shade guides such as Vita porcelain shade guides, they are not ideal for veneers because they are too thick and are composed of several different layers including opaques. The best method is to have ceramist concerned several trial laminates made from an impression of your patient's teeth, and then several samples of different choices can be offered. Now, consideration of tooth preparation for interior veneers. Class 0 preparation, that means no preparation. Class 1 is window preparation, that is the veneer ends below the incisal edge. Class 2 is the feather edge, that is extends to the incisal edge but there is no reduction of the incisal edge. Then class 3, it is a bevel preparation in which the veneer overlaps the there is reduction of slight incisal edge, we can say. And class 4 is where reduction of incisal edge and palatal extension of the preparation is also done, that is overlapping of the incisal edge, that is incisal edge veneers. Butt joint, in this incisal reduction of approximately we can say 2 mm is done and 90-degree lingual margin chamfers is given. Interproximal preparation includes contact areas. Class 6, it is full veneer preparation, that is you have to completely surround the tooth with the veneer, or it is also known as 3/4 veneer. Interproximal and palatal preparation extension, palatal deep chamfer or rounded shoulder preparation, and hybrid structure. Now, various tooth preparation techniques, that is graded tooth reduction. The minimal thickness of porcelain laminate should be 0.3 to 0.5 mm, and required uniform reduction can be achieved by labial reduction. First, then interproximal, then circular extension, incisal if needed, and lingual reduction if needed. Now, armamentariums like veneer preparation kits are available. The depth cutters like LVS 0.3 mm and 0.5 mm. Labial reduction, in most instances the needed reduction will be 0.5 mm, which is obtained by using LVS 1. For smaller teeth, mandibular incisors require 0.3 mm reduction using LVS 2. The LVS diamond depth cutter is selected and it is drawn from the tooth on the tooth from mesial to distal, and the remaining enamel is reduced by initial cuts. The labial surface is axially reduced by 0.3 to 0.5 mm, and cervically a shallow chamfer is prepared epigingival, that is equivalent to gingiva. Proximal preparation, it is divided into gingival proximal area and direct proximal contact area. Gingival proximal, which extends gingivally from the interdental contact area, whereas direct proximal contact area, which is located incisal 2/3 of the proximal surface. So, gingival proximal preparation, the care that should be kept in mind is to avoid penetration into gingivo-dental complex as well as CEJ. The burr is held almost at an angle of a 60-degree to axial inclination and gently pushed towards palate to create a dogleg gingivo-proximal extension. It is usually kept supragingival. The type of margin which is preferable in chamfer form in this particular area. The depth of margin should be too deep so as to replace porcelain will be thicker, and correct adjustments will be limited when a heavy chamfer is used. Although thin chamfer may produce improved color, but it is impractical because thin porcelain margins makes it vulnerable in the dental laboratory, even in dentist chair. Prefers medium chamfer that allows color adjustment and yet has porcelain margin of adequate thickness. They can be placed subgingivally or more palatally where severe discoloration or diastema closure is achieved. Wherever possible, it is best to preserve the contact area. An anatomical feature that is difficult to reproduce, try-in procedures are simplified and save the clinical adjustments to the contact area. Incisal preparation, either by window preparation or incisal lapping. Incisor overlap, in this porcelain is stronger and produces a positive seat during cementation process. The aesthetic characteristics of porcelain veneers are more easily handled and they are controlled by dental technicians. To improve the translucency of a veneer, a 1 mm of incisal reduction is suggested with rounded line angles. The lingual preparation, according to Magne et al., it shows that palatal concavity proved to be area of stress concentration. So, the area of cingulum which presents with the lowest tensile strength. Therefore, be considered as an ideal location of porcelain bonded restoration material. Margin placement should preferably not finish at concavity, but rather it should be placed above the concavity or below the smooth convex area of the cingulum so that will be subject to tensile forces. The round-ended fissure diamond burr should be held parallel to the long axis of the tooth while preparing the lingual side, and it should form a slight chamfer that is 0.5 mm deep. The finish line should be preferably be 1/4 the way down the lingual surface and about 1 mm from the centric contacts. Care should be given not to locate this finishing line on the palatal convexity. So impression, one step double mix impression technique should be used. The gingival cord, which is of smaller diameter, should be placed at the bottom of the sulcus, and it will remain in place during impression making. The gingival cord of a larger diameter is placed into the entrance with a bimanual technique, that is by placing help of two gingival cord packers, and it is carried out for 5 to 10 minutes before impression taking. Deflection cord is removed immediately following the injection of a light body into the sulcus, and then insertion of the tray loaded with heavy body is done, keeping in place the smaller cord. Thank you so much. We will be covering it in next class.